And welcome, one and all, to Empower Volusia. My name is Jason Davis, and this is Common Sense. And, we're out here coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden in an iron bunker in the highlands of West Volusia County, guarded by 2 rabid Pomeranians and 1 crazy cat, and we bring you the truth about what's going on in county government and literally abroad. So, what we've got going on today, I have an email I received from a gentleman by the name of Bill B. Mr. Bill B is his last name, I guess. And he wrote to me on an email. And by the way, you can now hear us and connect with us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter now. So you can just look up Common Sense and you see the picture of the Screaming Man, and that's us. We are the Screaming Man. So anyways, so Bill B sent me this email to jasondavispodcast@gmail.com. So that's how you send all that information to me. And he asked me, he apparently knows who I am, and he wrote, Mr. Chair, I have a question. When did we become a charter county government, and what are the benefits? And I said, well, okay, and I looked it up, and through Wikipedia, I found plenty of information on this. First things first, the Florida counties were not allowed to have charter governments until 1968. That's when voters statewide approved the measure. So far, just about 20 of the 67 counties have chosen that route towards a stronger local government, or so it says. Unless voters enact a charter, which only they can amend, a county is governed by state statutes, which makes them a constitutional county. For example, state law dictates that Manatee County officials are elected in partisan races, and it even says how much these elected officials get. See, apparently the citizens of Volusia County wanted more control over how much money these county council members are making, and they didn't really want the state of Florida telling them what they could and could not do. So, and that made all of our elections nonpartisan. Charters, however, allow counties more flexibility, more of what supporters consider home rule, and that's what they call this. A home rule charter government. Several counties prefer to have an elected instead of an appointed administrator. In other words, it allows for, instead of having a mayor of Volusia County or the county chair, we would have an appointed administrator, which would be appointed by the council. But we chose to have an elected one. Some make supervisor of elections a nonpartisan position, like here in Volusia County. And the charter is supposed to be a compact with the electorate. In other words, it's a deal that the county government is really run by the citizens of Volusia County. Okay, here's where it gets funny. It is enacted by referendum and can only be amended by the voters. Now, that doesn't happen in Volusia County, because the county council can say, we want, to amend our charter government, so we're going to put an amendment on the ballot. They can do it with a supermajority vote. And voters can use it to significantly reorganize and impose constraints on their local government, okay, through petitions, using petitions to do this. They get a petition drive together, and let's say they want the beaches open 24 hours a day. They can impose that on the county charter, and if the electorate say, yes, that's what we want, with a supermajority, 60% or better, bango, it's done. Of course, nobody's done that. In 1968, the Florida electorate allowed voters to decide whether their counties should be charter governments or not. So there you go, 1968. So all municipalities have voter-approved charters that set up the parameters of their government, all these municipalities, and such as which officials are elected and appointed and what powers they are given. For example, among many provisions, Brandon County, they have a 12-page charter. Or Bradenton, that's a city here not Brandon County. Bradenton, Florida is a city. They have a 12-page charter and states that police chief holds the office at the will of the mayor. It divides the city into 5 wards. And it calls for an elected council member for each ward and requires at least 2 council meetings each month. And that's a lot of the charters. They do that, city and county charters. Counties without charters, such as Manatee, are constructed according to state statutes. Counties with charters, however, can tailor how they are structured. And in most charters, the county manager or administrator is the power of the county. Very important. This is called a strong county manager system. So, now let's tell you how this works. And this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the charter. And I might have to make this like 2 or 3 episodes because it's not it's 32 pages long. But that's changing because Amendment 10, which was voted on by the citizens of Florida, changed it. So, here we go. Now, how do I know this? Well, I know because I was in this situation. A citizen came to me and asked for my help in a zoning issue where their neighbor was encroaching onto their property. I went to the residence. I saw where the neighbor was, not only encroaching onto the property, but was causing a nuisance, making an excessive noise. And if the resident complained, the offending neighbor would lie to law enforcement and make claims that the other resident that lived there was the offender. So I was sit there and I went to this property and observed some of these nuisances. So I took it to the county manager and requested that we do something about it. Look at it, look into it, investigate it. We got to do something. That's the job of the elected officials. We find a problem, we take it to our county manager, we say, I need some investigation done on this to find out what's going on, really. So this went on for 2 years plus while I was in office, and I was never able to get this in front of the county council for action. This is one of the instances of a bad situation that is basically controlled or ignored by a county manager, strong county charter. There are several instances just like this one that are overseen by the county manager. So let me make this perfectly clear to you. Absolutely crystal clear. Okay? And here it is. If the manager does not want the issue on the agenda, it does not get put on it, period. The end, cut and dry. There is no question. He makes the agenda. He approves the agenda. And if the agenda is not there and he doesn't want it there, then it doesn't happen. So what good is a county charter then? Because what we have is a manager who is in charge. So, it can and it does limit the amount of salary that is paid to the council members. It does. It can create different boards and committees, and it does. It says what the responsibilities of the councilmen and women are. But most of all, as I just said, it gives the county manager power supreme. And in the case of Volusia County, an outlandish paycheck. Pretty big one. 6 figures. It basically gives the county leadership the authority to do as it sees fit. And when I say county leadership, I'm talking the administration, regardless of the state statutes. So, basically, county council members are just the voting figureheads because the manager runs the show by hiring and firing staff, making assignments of staff members to assist the county council. That's an interesting, and these people do what the county manager says. So, and he makes all the administrative decisions for the county. He does. For example, when the budget comes through, who gets it? He gets it, he approves it, and he says, I'll just send it to the council. They'll have to approve the budget. And they do. I think I was one of the very few council members, pardon me, that ever said no to a county budget because it was too highly padded. The council only hears and votes on issues that the county manager wants to be heard in the public, and only the issues he knows will pass. On several issues, I have seen them pulled from the agenda by the manager, and these are agenda items, because of a request from petitioner or staff is not ready for presentation, and only never to be heard of again. These issues never come back because he doesn't have the votes, and he knows this. How does he know this? Because, and I will tell you this, our county council meetings were on Thursdays. On Tuesdays, the week before, so about 10 days prior to our council meeting, I would sit with the county manager, and he would give me the county agenda, and we would go over the agenda items. I would ask questions. I would dissertate. I would argue against her, whatever. He knew how I was going to vote on it. This is not a big thing. He never asked, but he knew. And he also, the same thing happens to every other council member for the next 10 days. The other 6 council members go into into the meeting with the county manager, and they would discuss each of these agenda items. He knew how everybody was going to vote. He knew if he had the 3 or the 4 vote, the 4 votes he needed or not. And if he didn't, they were gone. The issue was gone. It was stricken from the record. You know, I could just hear some eyebrows raising now. So allow me to bring you into the county charter. Now, this was created, and this is the word on the street, because the citizens felt that there was too much corruption in the county government. So that's like the Sunshine Law. You can't speak about issues to other council members outside of chambers because, oh my gosh, you might, be making plans to vote for something or vote against something. You might be discussing it in, outside of the chambers. Oh my goodness, well, we'll have the Sunshine Law, so you can't do that. No, all you did, just like this, is you pushed it farther into the back room. Believe me, I'm well aware, and I know there are people that have pictures of council members sitting in a darkened back corner of a little restaurant or a bar, drinking their drinks, eating their meal, and discussing matters on the agenda. I know this happened. When this came to me, I said, you bring me the pictures, and I'll take care of it. It never happened. Nobody brought me the pictures. Council members are not supposed to discuss matters outside of chambers, outside of a public meeting. That's the Sunshine Law. Just like they created this charter because there was too much corruption. Well, let me just say this. It's still there. It's just hidden a little bit farther in the back rooms. So, with that, we'll move on. So Section 401, the Volusia County County Charter, talks about the county manager. Now there shall be, and I quote, there shall be a county manager who shall be appointed by the council and who shall serve at the pleasure of the council. In other words, we chose him, he is ours, and he works until we're tired of him or he messes up and we say, you're done, you're fired, like which happened recently here in Volusia County about a year ago. The county manager shall be chosen on the basis of professional training, executive, and administrative experience. Okay, we want the guy to have, know what he's doing, and qualifications, of course. The manager shall retain residency within the county during the period of tenure of office and shall not engage in any other business or occupation. In other words, he's a county manager, period, the end, all. That's it. He doesn't do anything else. You can't sell Avon. You can't sell any other multi-level marketing item. You can't sell used cars on the weekend. You can't do any of that stuff. So that's your job. We have you 24/7. Now, Section 403 talks about the county manager, the powers of the county manager. Here's where it gets a little interesting. The county manager shall be the head of the administrative branch of county government, serve as clerk to the council, and shall be responsible to the council for the proper administration of all affairs of the county. That's basically what that says is the county manager runs the show. He's the one in charge. He's the only one that can hire or fire. That's right. He is the only one that can approve the budget before it goes to council. That's right. He is the one that gets the agenda together and approves the agenda items to go before council. He is the one that picks and chooses what boards need to be seated. He is the one that will pick and choose whether or not this person needs to be heard in front of the council and for how long. He tried that with me. And I said, this person is still speaking. Well, they have 3 minutes. Is there any objection, I said, on the council to this person continuing this discussion? No. Very well. Continue. Boy, did I get the look. But you know what? I didn't care. It's like this. I was there for the people. I served the people. I was probably the most open council chairman you ever had. And it was just amazing. I mean, I had some good times, I had some bad times, but I liked the job. I did the job to the best of my ability, and we actually accomplished things. So now here is the big fly in the ointment. Except for the purposes of inquiry and information, I need a file. How does this work? Who runs this particular shop? Who does this? That is inquiry information. So, except for the purposes of inquiry and information, the council and the committees, or members thereof, are expressly prohibited from interfering with the performance of the duties of any employee of the county government who is under the direct or indirect supervision of the county manager. Such action shall be malfeasance within the meaning of the Article 4, Section 7A of the Florida Constitution. In other words, you can be removed from office for interfering and looking at somebody and say, you're fired, go home. You could lose your job. You could be removed from office. You could have criminal charges filed against you of malfeasance. You can go to jail. Yeah. If I got in the middle of something, trust me, the county manager would be all up my grill, and I would probably be looking at time. But I didn't. So I'm looking at the big clock on the wall here, and we've been talking to you about this for 18 minutes, and I had a feeling that this was going to get a little bit long. So, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That's the truth about the county manager.
You can't handle the truth.
And some people can't. You'll find that the county is actually run by the county manager. And he has his favorite people that he will discuss matters with. He has these people that he talks to that he gets money from or donates money to. This was his little pet project, Volusia County. And it was an open checkbook for him to do what he needed or thought that he wanted to do. Sometimes he had the best interest in mind for the county, sometimes not. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pack it up and head to the house. So be sure that you catch us up there on, and next time we come up here, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the county council. And we're going to tell you all about the county council and what they can and cannot do. And believe me, there's a lot they can't do that you think they can do. That's true. So we'll leave that at that. So with that, we're going to bow out of here. And I hope we brought a little bit of a common sense to you. And maybe common sense might prevail.